Hi, I'm Brooke. Welcome to my channel. Today, let's talk about, do you really have an influence over the outside? Even things like weather. Well, I'm going to tell you a story about how the wind played a role or reflected my focus. And you tell me what you think. Because I think that I brought it on. And it's a pretty funny story. So stick around. First, I want to tell you a bit about me. I am a fine art photographer. This is some of my art behind me. I'm in my gallery in Manhattan Beach, California. And my art focuses on just being in the moment, enjoying life's simple pleasures, like the wind blowing in a palm tree. This wind that I'm going to tell you about was not so benevolent. But it was fun. It taught me a good lesson. That you get what you think about. You really, really do. And if you pay attention, you will see it more and more. If you want to check out my art, then I'm going to put a link in the description. And if you want to talk to me, I have one-on-ones, and I'm going to put a link for that as well. So, the wind. Do we control the wind? I don't think we control the wind, but I think that the wind will happily reflect your consciousness if you're focused on it. So, I live in Southern California. We have Santa Ana winds. I'm sure you've all heard about things that have happened here, usually fires because of heavy winds, or fire gets started and then it gets spread. Um, Years ago, I had some of my art in a gallery in Laguna Beach. I'm in Los Angeles area. Laguna is in Orange County, so it's like just south, like an hour and a half south. And it's like a beautiful beach town, and there's like tons of art galleries, a very art focused town. So I had some work in a gallery there, and I would go down sometimes and like be like the artist showing up and talking to people and stuff. And the gallery was had this little courtyard. And so sometimes artists would set up like a table outside so people could, kind of get people in. And I decided, so I have like sometimes I'll make what's called a proof, or it's like a sample. Sometimes I'll make like big proofs, especially then because I was newer to doing this. So I'll make a proof to see if the piece needs edits or if I like it on different papers or whatever. So at this time, I'd only just started doing like full-size proofs. So I had a few of these loose pieces, and since they were, you know, already had been touched and stuff, I wasn't going to sell them. With the final pieces, I'm very protective, careful. You can't touch a fine art, a photograph. Um, but I had these samples that I thought that's cool. I'll put them out on a table and let people look at them and touch them. Because I also use a really cool paper. It's made of cotton. I'm not for everything, but a lot of times I'll use this cotton matte paper that's really nice to touch. And I have a piece of it here. I'm just going to show you. Woo! We're losing microphones. Okay. So this is a sample of a proof. You can touch it, but you can also see it's kind of messed up. And it's like this cotton. It's really cool. All smooth. It's really interesting. And most photo paper has like a film on it. Anyways, a little demonstration for you. So I had pieces like that. And then I had like one really big one, like that's a smaller one. And I had like one big one. And they're expensive. I mean, it's expensive to make these nice prints. So I was like, this is the first time I was going to do this. And and so I was like kind of fixated on it and letting people touch these, even though I knew, they were already damaged, so I'm not going to sell them. And I had like the big one that I'd spent a lot of money on, but I thought that's cool to show people. So the night before, the day before I'm going to go down and do this demonstration or whatever, there's Santa Ana winds and they are just out of control. It's really intense. And all I can think of the whole day is, oh my God, I hope it's not windy. I hope it's not windy tomorrow. I hope it's not windy tomorrow. I hope it's not windy. I like kept fixating because I'm like, I want to be outside with my proofs. And what if it's windy? What if it's windy? And I was like thinking about it, thinking about it, thinking about it. And I woke up the next day, no wind. It was great. There was no wind. It was like perfectly calm. It was a beautiful Southern California day. And I drive down to Laguna and I get to the gallery and the gallery owner, we're standing outside talking about where to put the table. And he's such a nice guy. And I just kept saying to him, like, oh my God, how windy was it? Yesterday It was so windy. And I kept on and on. Oh, I'm so happy it's not windy today. Windy, windy, windy. And I just remember he stands there and he looks at me and he just kind of like looked around. He was like, it's not windy today. Like, kind of like, what are you talking about? Like, what are you on about? And I just kind of laughed. When he said that, I laughed because I could hear myself. I'm like, you're right. It's not windy today. I don't know why I'm talking about it. And so we set up the table. I put like the big expensive one on top, and I had a little framed like info sheet that talking about like the proofs, and I had it framed or like, just a store-bought 8 by 10 or whatever. And I had that on the table as well. And the owner goes inside and I'm out there. And all of a sudden, his wind comes. I mean, there was no wind. And then whoosh, just this crazy wind blows through, takes that big expensive print, throws it, flew up and like ripped it in half. It like caught on something and ripped. And that info sheet thing in the frame flew off the table and shattered everywhere. The glass shattered, and I was just like, oh my God. And then the wind went away and then it just stopped. And the owner comes out, you heard the commotion, and he was like, oh my God. He's like, oh, I'm so sorry. I thought it would be okay to put you out here or whatever. And I was like, no, you're good. This is nothing to do with you. I knew in that moment that I did it, that all I could think about was the win. The problem I'm worried about is I'm telling this story and now there's going to be some heavy wind tomorrow, probably. That's all right. I don't have anything outside. But what's hilarious is that I know that I was so focused on it. And then I couldn't even let it go. Like once I woke up and it was fine, I kept going with it. I got down to Laguna right away. I started talking to the owner, like, oh my God, wind, 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 wind. Like, oh my God, I was so worried about the wind. I was so worried about the wind, 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 wind. And when he did that gesture, when he stood there and was like, there's no wind now. Like it was so obvious to me that like, what am I doing? Why am I talking about this still? But it was too late. I already invited in the wind. And I think it was good that that happened because that really helped me see you get what you focus on. When I say there was no wind the whole day, except for those like 2 minutes or whatever that it came through and like destroyed my big expensive proof. I mean the frame or whatever, it was just like a cheap frame from Target or something. But that proof, I mean now I have tons of them. They're all over this table that I'm they're everywhere. But at the time, that was like my big investment, that big but I mean, I couldn't even be mad because it was so funny because I could see so clearly what I had done. And it was such a good lesson. So what do you think? What do you guys think? I mean, you can think what you want to think, but I do not for 1 second believe that that was random. And I get it. it sounds crazy. We think things are random or something like the weather is random. Although, I know people have all kinds of theories about the weather being controlled, but I would say that if anyone is controlling it, it's you. And yeah, I'm sure maybe there are ways to manipulate it, obviously. I mean, there's plenty of ways that are public knowledge, and then plenty of things that people theorize about. But as I've said in other videos, like it doesn't matter. If you focus hard enough on wind, you're gonna have wind, right? And if you focus hard enough on the weather being whatever it is that you want it to be, if you listen to Abraham Hicks, they tell a story about Esther being, I guess she must have been like in the desert, or there was some drought, and she kept thinking about, wanting water because there wasn't any. Like she was thinking more about the dryness, and so that she was just getting more dryness. And then she talked to Abraham, and they were like, you have to think about the water. What happens when it rains? Think about that. And so she thought about like the flowers, the animals getting to drink, from the stream, or whatever. She thought about all that stuff that comes with the water. And there was like a flash flood or something like shortly after. And so when there's like so much sort of dark theories about all of this stuff being done to us. But I think even if that's true, I don't know if I believe all those things, but even if it is true, it doesn't matter. You can focus on the rain, you can focus on the wind, you can focus on the sun, you can focus on the things that you want to see, and there they will appear. And pay attention if you're focused on the things you don't want to see. Like wind when you're going to put your proofs outside. Um, anyways, so I just thought that was like one of the funniest things. It was uh, probably the last time that I really ruminated on weather like that. But pay attention to where you're focused, because you're going to get it. All right, hope you enjoyed that story. Hope you had a good laugh, and I will see you in the next video.